The sun was setting over the quiet, manicured streets of Oakwood Estates, casting long shadows over the rows of identical houses. It was the kind of neighborhood where everyone knew everyone, or at least they thought they did. The freshly painted white fences gleamed in the fading light, and perfectly trimmed hedges stood like sentinels along the sidewalks. At first glance, it looked like the perfect place to settle down, raise a family, and live peacefully. But beneath this calm surface, a strange tension was growing, like an undercurrent in still water. Alex, a new homeowner with a sharp mind and a secret skill set, had noticed something odd. For the past few weeks, the HOA president, Mr. Granger, had been acting unusual. Not the typical well-meaning but overbearing kind of HOA president. No, this was something else. Late at night, Alex had spotted Mr. Granger lurking near fences, creeping through shadows, and carrying a ladder like some kind of private investigator. His movements were furtive, as if he was on a secret mission. Neighbors whispered in hushed tones, "Did you see Mr. Granger last night?" They'd say, "He was out near the Johnsons' yard again." But no one dared to confront him. The HOA held a strange power in Oakwood Estates, and most people didn't want to risk getting on their bad side. One particular evening, as the streetlights flickered on, Alex was watering the front lawn when a noise caught his attention. From the corner of their eye, something shifted near the fence line. A shadow moved, quick and deliberate. Peering through the window, Alex's heart skipped a beat. There he was again. Mr. Granger, balancing precariously on a ladder, attempting to peer over the fence into Alex's backyard. Why was he spying? What was he so desperate to see? And more importantly, was it legal? Alex's mind raced. The HOA was known for strict rules about lawn care, paint colors, and decorations. But spying on homeowners? That crossed a line. The tension in the neighborhood was palpable. Everyone wanted privacy, but nobody felt safe anymore. As Mr. Granger tiptoed along the top rung, his eyes darted nervously, searching for something invisible to the rest of the street. Alex grabbed their phone, fingers trembling, but hesitated to record. What if this made things worse? What if the HOA found out? The risk of retaliation was real. The scene froze in Alex's mind. A man, desperate and reckless, risking injury to invade a neighbor's privacy. The ladder creaked ominously underfoot. Just then, a sudden gust of wind swept down the street, shaking the branches overhead and making the ladder sway. Alex held their breath. Would the HOA president fall? Would this be the moment everything changed? Or would Mr. Granger get away with another night of spying? As the wind died down, the ladder steadied. Mr. Granger pulled himself up, glancing around nervously, as if expecting someone to catch him. Alex felt a mix of anger, fear, and something else, a strange curiosity. There was more to this story. Much more. What secrets was the HOA trying to hide? And how far would they go to control this neighborhood? Alex realized this wasn't just about a nosy HOA anymore. It was about power, control, and something darker lurking beneath the pristine lawns. The stage was set, the players were in motion, and the quiet suburb of Oakwood Estates would never be the same. The night deepened, cloaking Oakwood Estates in shadows. The street was silent except for the soft rustling of leaves stirred by a gentle breeze. But inside Alex's home, the tension was anything but quiet. Alex sat by the window, eyes fixed on the flickering street lamp. The image of Mr. Granger balancing on that ladder refused to leave their mind. Why risk injury to spy on a neighbor? What was so important that the HOA president had to resort to such desperate measures? As the minutes ticked by, a soft noise came from outside, a faint creak, barely audible. Alex's heart pounded. They crept toward the window, every sense alert. There he was again. Mr. Granger had returned, this time carrying a flashlight, eyes scanning the yard with unnatural intensity. The ladder was propped again against the fence. This wasn't a one-time thing. It was a pattern, obsession, surveillance. Alex's fingers trembled as they grabbed their phone ready to record, but just as the camera lens focused, a sudden snap shattered the silence. The ladder shifted, rocking violently. "Careful," Alex whispered under their breath. The HOA president froze, gripping the ladder tightly, his face pale in the dim flashlight beam. The ladder wobbled dangerously on the uneven ground, a step away from catastrophe. The tension was unbearable. Would the ladder hold? With a desperate move, Mr. Granger tried to regain balance. His foot slipped. For a terrifying moment, time seemed to stretch. The ladder tipped sideways, crashing against the fence with a loud thud. Mr. Granger fell to the ground, a harsh grunt escaping his lips. Alex rushed outside, heart hammering. The street seemed to hold its breath as neighbors peeked from behind curtains and half-open doors. "Are you okay?" Alex called out, keeping a safe distance. Mr. Granger groaned, clutching his arm, eyes wild with a mixture of pain and embarrassment. "This isn't what it looks like," he muttered, trying to regain his composure. But Alex wasn't convinced. Something about the whole scene felt off, like a dangerous game playing out in the shadows of this idyllic neighborhood. As the night wore on, questions swirled. Why was the HOA president so obsessed with spying? What secrets was he desperate to uncover? Word spread quickly the next day. The fall was no secret anymore. Neighbors whispered about the scandalous spying incident. The HOA tried to sweep it under the rug, labeling it an accident, but the damage was done. Alex watched the neighborhood's atmosphere shift. Some were angry, others afraid. Privacy was no longer just a desire, it was a demand. But beneath the surface, Alex felt something else stirring, a plan forming. Because what the neighbors didn't know was that Alex wasn't just any homeowner. They had designed the neighborhood's entire security system. Cameras disguised as garden lights, motion detectors hidden in statues, encrypted alerts directly to their phone. And every move the HOA president made, every secretive step, was being watched by Alex. As the sun rose over Oakwood Estates, a silent battle began between the nosy HOA and the guardian watching from the shadows. The stakes? Privacy, control, the right to live without fear. And Alex was ready. As dawn's soft light spilled over Oakwood Estates, the neighborhood still buzzed with whispered rumors about the previous night's shocking fall. The HOA president, Mr. Granger, was recovering, but his reputation lay fractured on the pavement alongside his battered ego. Yet, amidst the hushed conversations and sideways glances, Alex moved through their day with calm precision. Because there was a secret no one in the neighborhood suspected, Alex was no ordinary homeowner. Alex was the architect of Oakwood Estates' entire security network. Every hidden camera, every silent alarm, every encrypted alert was part of a sophisticated system Alex had painstakingly designed and installed. What looked like simple garden lights or birdhouses were actually high-tech surveillance devices, all connected to a secure private network controlled solely by Alex. This wasn't about paranoia. It was about control and safety, something Alex valued deeply after years of working in cybersecurity. But now, this network was proving to be a powerful weapon. Alex sat down at the computer, fingers flying over the keyboard. The security system's dashboard displayed live feeds from every corner of the neighborhood, yards, driveways, streets. The footage from last night was already saved, each second meticulously recorded. With a few clicks, Alex zoomed in on the moment Mr. Granger climbed the ladder, the camera catching the strain in his hands, the fear flickering in his eyes, and finally, the catastrophic fall. But it wasn't just about capturing evidence. Alex's system was programmed with artificial intelligence, capable of detecting unusual behavior and alerting immediately. It had silently tracked Mr. Granger's repeated nighttime excursions for weeks, flagging the suspicious activity long before the ladder incident. As Alex reviewed the footage, a plan formed. This was no longer just about passive observation. It was time to shift from watcher to guardian, to protect the neighborhood from those who believed they could spy, manipulate, and control without consequence. Meanwhile, the HOA board met behind closed doors, desperate to regain control. They whispered about legal threats, community votes, and damage control. But they had no idea the real power was quietly held in one resident's hands, the very person they had been underestimating all along. Alex's mind raced. How far would the HOA go to keep their secret safe? How many neighbors had suffered under their invasive tactics? And what else might the security system reveal if the searchlights turned the other way? There was a rush of adrenaline. Alex wasn't just defending their own yard anymore. They were standing for every homeowner's right to privacy and peace. And the best part? The HOA didn't even know. As the sun climbed higher, Alex prepared to set their plan in motion. Cameras would watch. Alerts would fire. The next time the HOA tried to sneak around, they wouldn't get away unnoticed. The neighborhood was about to learn that technology could be a shield as well as a spyglass. And Alex was ready to become the silent guardian Oakwood Estates never knew it needed. Nightfall draped Oakwood Estates in shadows once again. But this time, the quiet suburb felt different, charged with a new kind of energy. Alex sat in the dim glow of their home office, eyes glued to the multiple screens displaying live feeds from every corner of the neighborhood. The tech behind these cameras was more than just surveillance. It was a web of silent protection designed to catch any threat before it could strike. Alex had watched the HOA president's reckless spying escalate for weeks. Now, the moment had come to stop it. With a calm but determined hand, Alex activated the neighborhood security system, triggering a series of subtle but unmistakable signals. Hidden floodlights near Mr. Granger's usual spying spots flickered on, bathing the yard in stark, blinding light. Speakers, cleverly concealed in garden gnomes and tree trunks, emitted soft but eerie sounds, enough to disorient, but not alarm. On the computer screen, Alex saw the HOA president creeping along the fence, flashlight in hand, eyes darting nervously. His ladder was positioned as usual, but tonight, the stakes felt higher. The floodlight snapped on, casting long shadows and revealing every movement. Mr. Granger froze, startled. His plan was unraveling, but desperation pushed him forward. As he started to climb the ladder, the cameras captured every shaky step. Alex's heart pounded as the live feed zoomed in on the HOA president's face, a mix of fear, frustration, and stubborn defiance. The tension in the room was palpable. Then, without warning, the system triggered a silent alarm, sending an encrypted alert directly to Alex's phone. Unauthorized surveillance attempt detected. But Alex didn't stop there. The network locked down the area around the ladder, activating motion sensors that illuminated sensors hidden in nearby trees. The lights flickered, casting strange patterns, confusing the HOA president's balance and sense of direction. The ladder wobbled dangerously. Alex leaned forward, breath held, watching the inevitable unfold. Mr. Granger's foot slipped on the top rung. The ladder tipped sideways. The fall was sudden and loud, the sharp crack of wood hitting earth, the sickening thud of a body collapsing. On the screens, the floodlights dimmed, and Alex's heart raced. Had they gone too far? Outside, the neighborhood stirred. Windows opened, neighbors whispered. The scandal was no longer confined to rumors. It was unfolding live. Alex hesitated a moment longer, then grabbed their phone to call emergency services. Despite the chaos, Alex's mind was already racing ahead. This wasn't just about catching a nosy HOA president. It was a warning, a line drawn in the sand. The message was clear: invade this neighborhood's privacy, and there would be consequences. The silent guardian had spoken. The night was shattered by the sound of breaking wood and a heavy thud that echoed down the quiet streets of Oakwood Estates. The air seemed to freeze for a moment as neighbors' faces appeared at their windows, eyes wide with shock and disbelief. Mr. Granger lay on the ground, pain twisting his features. His arm bent awkwardly beneath him, and he struggled to breathe. The ladder, once his tool for intrusion, was now a broken symbol of his reckless obsession. Alex rushed outside, heart pounding fiercely in their chest. They kept a cautious distance, but stayed close enough to monitor his condition. Around them, neighbors gathered, some calling emergency services, others whispering accusations and questions. The perfect, peaceful facade of Oakwood Estates had shattered in an instant. "Are you all right?" Alex asked quietly, their voice steady but laced with concern. Mr. Granger grimaced, attempting to sit up but failing. I didn't mean for this to happen," he muttered, his voice tight with pain and humiliation. "I just wanted to to know what was going on in your yard. The crowd murmured, sensing the raw tension between them. Alex's mind raced. The man's reckless spying had caused this, but the truth beneath it was far more complex. Why was Mr. Granger so desperate? What secrets was he chasing that pushed him to risk everything? Paramedics arrived swiftly, taking over with professional calm, lifting Mr. Granger onto a stretcher. As he was carried away, eyes turned to Alex. Some looked accusing, others curious. The neighborhood was a powder keg, and the spark had ignited. Back inside, Alex replayed the events on their security system. Every moment from the spying to the fall was captured in crystal clear detail. But more than that, the footage revealed something deeper: hidden conversations, coded signals, suspicious meetings between HOA officials late at night, away from prying eyes. Alex realized the incident was just the tip of the iceberg. For days afterward, Oakwood Estates buzzed with rumors and fear. The HOA scrambled to control the narrative, labeling the accident as a careless mistake and promising stricter rules to protect privacy. But Alex knew better. The HOA wasn't interested in privacy. They were interested in control. The security system, designed to protect, was now Alex's weapon to expose the truth. The neighbors were caught in the middle, some frightened to speak, others hungry for justice. And Alex was ready to tip the balance. Because this wasn't just about one man's fall from a ladder. It was about the fall of an entire corrupt system. Days had passed since Mr. Granger's fall, yet the neighborhood remained restless. Oakwood Estates felt like a ticking time bomb, its residents caught between fear, suspicion, and a desperate need for answers. Alex sat back at their computer, the glow of the monitors lighting up the darkened room. Every secret, every hidden agenda the HOA had tried so carefully to bury was now slowly coming to light. The surveillance footage had captured more than just Mr. Granger's reckless spying. It had recorded secret meetings, whispered conversations, and suspicious activity deep into the night. Alex's fingers hovered over the keyboard, heart racing with anticipation. What had seemed like simple HOA overreach was revealing itself to be something much darker: manipulation, intimidation, and a calculated effort to control every aspect of life in the neighborhood. Neighbors had begun to come forward, emboldened by the evidence Alex was collecting. Whispered stories surfaced, tales of letters threatening fines for minor infractions, anonymous tips about personal matters, and worse, rumors of the HOA digging into private lives under the guise of community safety. The realization hit Alex like a punch. The HOA wasn't just about lawn rules or paint colors. It was about power, and it was abusing that power. But exposing corruption wasn't without risk. Alex knew the HOA leaders were watching, waiting, ready to strike back. The surveillance system had to stay hidden, the network secure. One wrong move could put Alex in their crosshairs. Late one night, as Alex monitored the feeds, a new figure appeared on the screen. Someone unexpected, a mysterious visitor arriving in a dark sedan, slipping into the shadows with the kind of purpose that sent chills down Alex's spine. Who was this stranger? An ally or another threat? Curiosity gnawed at Alex, but caution ruled the night. Every move had to be calculated, every risk measured. The plot thickened. Oakwood Estates was no longer just a neighborhood. It was a battlefield, and Alex was at its heart, ready to expose the HOA's dark secrets and fight for the truth. But the question remained: how deep did the corruption run? And who would pay the price when the truth finally came out? The arrival of the mysterious stranger in the dark sedan sent a ripple of unease through Oakwood Estates. Alex watched closely, every muscle tensed as the figure slipped through the neighborhood's winding streets, moving with deliberate stealth. Who was this person? And what was their connection to the HOA's shadowy operations? From the safety of their surveillance hub, Alex zoomed in on the newcomer's movements. The figure approached a secluded house on the edge of the community, the home of one of the HOA board members, someone rumored to be fiercely loyal to Mr. Granger. The stranger knocked softly, and the door cracked open just enough to whisper a secret exchange before the visitor slipped inside. Alex's mind raced. This was no ordinary meeting. It was a conspiracy unfolding live, hidden behind the pristine facades and manicured lawns. Determined to uncover the truth, Alex prepared to access deeper layers of the security system, encrypted zones reserved for emergencies. The risk was high, but the stakes were higher. Whatever was happening inside that house could expose the entire corrupt network controlling Oakwood Estates. Suddenly, an alert flashed on the screen, a breach attempt on Alex's system. Someone was trying to find the security hub. Panic surged, but Alex kept calm, quickly initiating defensive protocols. The cameras flickered, and the feed momentarily cut out. Outside, the neighborhood seemed normal, but Alex knew better. The watchers had become the watched. The predators now had a target. Hours later, with the system restored, Alex pored over the recordings from the secret meeting. Voices whispered urgently, plans to discredit Alex, to silence the guardian who dared to challenge their authority. The corruption was deeper than anyone had imagined. Neighbors began to notice the shift too. Subtle warnings from the HOA, letters with thinly veiled threats, sudden enforcement of bizarre rules, visits from intimidating inspectors. Fear crept back into Oakwood Estates, but Alex refused to back down. With every hidden camera, every encrypted alert, Alex gathered evidence to protect the community. But now, the fight was personal. The dark visitor's arrival marked a new phase in this silent war. And as shadows lengthened over Oakwood Estates, Alex knew one thing for certain. This battle for control was far from over. The tension in Oakwood Estates had reached a boiling point. Alex knew the HOA's corrupt grip was tightening, their desperate attempts to silence the neighborhood's silent guardian becoming more aggressive by the day. But Alex was ready. Under the cover of night, Alex activated the neighborhood-wide security system in full force. Cameras, sensors, and encrypted alerts linked directly to every homeowner's phone. The network was no longer just a tool for watching. It was a shield, a weapon to expose the truth. The mysterious visitor, now revealed to be an outside investigator hired by a concerned resident, had gathered critical evidence of HOA corruption, proof of bribes, intimidation tactics, and illegal surveillance. Together, Alex and the investigator coordinated a sting operation. That night, as the HOA board convened in secret, the system's hidden cameras recorded everything: whispered deals, threats to cover up Mr. Granger's fall, plans to sabotage Alex's security network. Alex shared the footage with the neighborhood, sending the files anonymously to local authorities and the media. The community watched in stunned silence as their trusted HOA leaders were exposed for the manipulation and control they wielded behind closed doors. But the real twist came when Alex revealed one final secret: the entire security network, the one the HOA had tried so hard to bypass and destroy, was designed with a fail-safe. If tampered with, it would automatically upload all footage and data to a secure cloud, ensuring no evidence could ever be erased. The HOA's reign was over. As investigations launched and legal actions began, the neighborhood felt the weight of justice settling in. The residents, once divided and fearful, came together, united by the fight for their privacy and peace. And Alex, the silent guardian, the unseen architect, finally stepped out of the shadows. Instead of a lone vigilant, Alex became a community leader, a symbol of resilience and protection. The last scene showed Alex standing in their yard, watching neighbors smiling and children playing freely, knowing that the true security wasn't just in cameras or technology, it was in the courage to stand up for what was right. Oakwood Estates had fallen off the ladder of corruption, and from the fall, something stronger had risen.